Welcome to Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios, the place where we explore the art of producing art. I'm Steve Sue, this is Crystal Baki, and our guest, Rebecca Teresia. Hi, Rebecca, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for coming back. So, you're a film producer, actor, stunt woman, model, athlete, everything, whole package. But what we'd like to talk about today is how to navigate a festival, film festival, or market as a new filmmaker. And you've done this, right?
Yes, I went to my first film market this year called AFM, American Film Market.
Nice.
And it was a...
Time out. What's the difference between a film festival and a film market?
There's also actually film festivals that are markets as well.
Mm-hmm.
But film market is usually a week-long market where distributors, sales agents, filmmakers, directors, producers all come together with the goal of selling a movie, getting distribution, learning about different tax credits in different cities and countries, meeting each other, and that's kind of what they're focused on. A film festival is where you obviously in film market you also do have screenings, but it's like primarily to sell the movie. Film festivals, there are two kinds. There's film festivals that also pose as a market, but there's also film festivals where you screen your movie, you meet other filmmakers, you celebrate each other, you get press and recognition, and you win awards for various different categories.
So you have to apply to get into film festivals, right?
Yes.
Do you also have to apply to get into film markets?
There's a process if you want to screen your film at a film market, but you don't have to apply to go there as an attendee. You can also like host a room in a film market, so you'll obviously have to go through that process and it'll cost you a lot more, but you don't have to be selected necessarily.
Gotcha.
So you go to a festival or a market first time. What are you thinking?
Well, I was a little nervous. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, a mentor, he told me that I need to go and that I should go there and just observe and just kind of not expect too much out of it. And I did that for the first day, and then I got kind of bored. I was like, well, I saw what's up.
What was up?
Could you paint the picture of what it is like to go to a film market? Like what's going on?
It was very intimidating. There's a lot of people dressed really nice with their laptops, their suitcases, and just like walking all over, having conversations. You go into the hotel and each room is filled with different distribution company or sales agent, or a country is trying to promote their tax credits or their incentives, and there's 8 or 9 different floors, and then there's these major panels happening at the same time, and then you kind of choose like what you do. A lot of people have made appointments in advance to go talk to different distribution companies or production houses to pitch their ideas.
You're a research person, I know this. So did you do research and actually set up your meetings before you went, or did you just kind of walk in and go, okay, now what?
I walked in because I didn't have time to research. I did kind of do my little research on like how to best take advantage of my time there. And a lot of the advice was like, okay, well, you really need to be comfortable talking to people. You need to be comfortable pitching your idea. So what I did was I talked to a lot of the filmmakers that I have worked with, asked them to send me their pitches, and I remembered those by heart. So depending on who I would talk to, I would have that already in me. But yes, it was very intimidating, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Can I just go and walk there and talk? And so I didn't do that for the first few days. But then I was like, okay, I've been already having conversations with people. After panels, I've been talk to like the panelists and connected with them, gotten their information, and it was all pretty easy. So then I started this strategy of like going from door to door to door and asking, hey, what are you doing? What's your specialty? What you are trying to do? What you're hoping out of this festival? And depending on what they answered, I had either a pitch or I was like, okay, well, that's not my thing.
So what percentage of those contacts do you think were actually interested in your product?
Maybe 20?
That's pretty good. I thought you were going to say like maybe 10%.
Because I also pitched Hawaii as a location.
Smart.
That really was kind of a very cool strategy.
You know what I do when I go to conferences? I take a whole thing of Mac Nuts and the chocolate ones, and I put them in a satchel, and then I'll tweet out. I go, anybody that wants the Mac Nut, find me.
Exactly. No, those are the great things, and I'm so grateful for Hawaii for being able to live here for 12 years, going to high school, learning the culture, working with the community, getting to know the talented filmmakers that do phenomenal work here that the rest of the world doesn't know about. And because I come from a different culture, and I feel like I might be able to be a good fit for some filmmakers who want to do the right thing in Hawaii, but they don't necessarily know how, and they might be able to ask me like the silly questions so that they don't insult when it comes to culture or anything else. And because for me, it's super important to do everything in Hawaii the right way.
Yeah.
Have a blessing in before you start filming. Treat everyone with respect, do it right by like all the locations, take the spirituality of Hawaii into consideration when you film here. So
I would want to bring that to a festival and like just lay it out, because Hawaii is so known in the industry for our beautiful locations and the culture. So in a way, you're kind of almost like showing them that you have a product that they want if they use this type of product, right? I'm from Hawaii. So I'm wondering, like, do you specifically choose garments? I mean, what do you wear at...
I wear my aloha stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you do that when you go to festivals?
No, I don't actually.
What do you wear?
I don't know, whatever I want to wear.
So
you're
actually
the goth artist from Hawaii.
So one strategy that I do recommend you, which
Yeah.
like a win-win, and so I actually work with a designer local to Hawaii.
Oh, right.
Her
I
name
remember.
is Cora
Yeah.
Adorables, and this is one of her dresses actually as well.
Oh, cute.
So
that's smart, actually.
I wear her line at festivals, so people kind of start recognizing me through that. It drives hopefully business to her too, and I love her outfits. And then she designs my outfits, so I don't have to worry about it.
And nobody's wearing the same one that you got, right?
No. And I think it brings a little piece of aloha to
Yeah.
the rest of the world too. And especially like at AFM, while I was talking to some filmmakers, some of the conversations were like, hey, what are you doing? And they were like, oh, we're actually thinking of producing this movie, this action comedy in Bulgaria or some other country. And so I started asking, like, why? What are the reasons? And they're like, well, it's cheap and there's some good locations. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Have you ever considered coming to Hawaii? It might have similar locations. The tax credits, tax incentives here are still very competitive. It's a lot closer to you, to LA, than Bulgaria.
Yeah.
You don't know anyone in Bulgaria currently. So
And we make a great Mai Tai.
yeah, and I think for a lot of people, just like getting to know a few connections that they can then like rely when going to a whole new territory is very
That's
exciting.
smart. And then you'll be like, and I can quarterback it for you guys from Hawaii,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah. And I mean, I can connect, I am very confident I can connect them with almost any resource they need because I've gone to high school here, I've gone to university here, I've worked in finance and business here, and I've worked in film for the last 5 years. So I've had the luxury
The
to meet a
state
lot
should
of...
pay us all to go to festivals and be
Yeah.
ambassadors for the
Yes.
state. Because I mean, how much business do we bring here if you bring a picture in?
And their main questions are really like, where can I find talent? Where can I find locations?
And you raise your hand.
And locations actually in Hawaii are so easy to get in comparison to other states. And like the state and city permit offices are so wonderful to work with. I've worked with them both, and sometimes they've like expedited certain permits, and some permits cost like nothing or like minor, like $20. Like it depends, but that's another incentive for filmmakers to come here.
I like that. Okay.
And there's some really creative. So the main struggle, I guess, coming to Hawaii is like housing cost. So I've been trying to kind of come up with some strategic ways to maybe start working with universities on their off season, housing like a bigger crew there, or working with hotels, housing the crew there, or like kind of slowly building like different options.
So
because
we
the
need
housing
to build
will
a
be the
package for when you go to festivals to show them like this is the best state to shoot in, including housing and crew and yeah, okay, good. So getting back to our subject though, sorry. Did you see how eloquently I snuck that in to get it back on track? Yeah, but you're a world of knowledge, so I would love to let you run on that. But inquiring minds want to know about the festival situation, right? So trends, are they changing over time? Are things that we need to know about for the next seasons of festivals? I think actually sort of touched on them as they're looking for inspirational stories, maybe more now in the documentary space, or
it depends. I would say drama is the hardest one.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get distribution and sales for dramas.
Is it just because there's so much product, or it's been done so much, or?
I think if you look at like what does people like, basically you can also do your research on this. There's a lot of research on like different graphs and like which markets, which countries watch which genres the most. But drama just doesn't always, it kind of goes in the middle space. So like, let's say in Asia, action movies do very well, whereas in Europe, action movies don't do so well, but US is kind of in the middle. And like actually Korea, drama does very well, but whereas maybe Japan, not so well. So like kind of understanding what kind of movie you're trying to do, where you want to distribute it also kind of will give you like the trend. But I mean, horror movies has always kind of have its own niche.
So
they have a cult following. So if you want to do a horror, you go to like those, like that's why I was interested in knowing like who is focused on what and why, so that I can kind of pitch them a specific story, because it's so different. Production companies have their own focuses too, and their own specialties.
And even within a specific festival or market, then you might think about what is my picture and how is it relevant to this particular market, because maybe some are more prone to certain types of genres. Exactly.
But yeah, like so at AFM, there were distributors, production companies, literally globally there. So that's why that became my strategy, was to kind of go from door to door and like just learn about them.
Okay.
So that I just kind of get to know them as a person, because sometimes you also like need, as a filmmaker, super important to feel good about the person you want to work with. You don't. That's one of my main things that I look for too, is like how easy that conversation is, how I feel, like what's the energy that I get from that person.
Yeah.
So what's your best win at either a market or a festival?
So my recent film that I produced called Junho, it's a Korean movie. I got into the Asian World Film Festival, and the screening was 1 week after the film market. So at the market, depending on who I talked to, if they were a distributor and interested in art house dramas, I definitely invited them to come to the screening. And I had few who actually came to the physical screening, and they loved the movie. And now we're in conversations in hopefully getting a limited theatrical release.
Wonderful.
And then distribute it into like all the different platforms, which is a huge win for me.
So do you prefer theatrical release to streaming, or what's your kind of vibe?
As a filmmaker, I definitely prefer a theatrical release, because it's a different environment. I mean, you can see the movie in such a different way. This Junho is very artsy. It's the music is incredibly powerful. We have a very talented composer attached to that film. So I think when you see it on the screen, you get a very different experience.
Yeah, sure. And so did you go to festival with an agent already, or did you not need an agent at that point?
I didn't have an agent. So that's another thing, like with festivals too, as a new filmmaker, as you're applying to festivals, it is crucial to follow up with them. Find out who are the festival producers, what are they looking for, because each festival also has their niches and what story they're trying to tell with their movies. Are they focused on women's stories, or are they focused on comedy or horror, or are they, like with the Asian World Film Festival, obviously that was wanting to highlight Asian filmmakers or Asian stories. And we actually didn't get in first. And that kind of is what I mean by like reach out to them, because I started calling the producers and I was like, hey, just following up. We have a really good movie, just won 3 more awards at this festival. So what's the status, like, if we will get in? And she was telling me like, oh, we got like 22 BAFTA award winning, or like not BAFTA, sorry, 22 Golden Globe nominated movies, and like
Wow.
some other like Oscar nominated movies that are going to that direction. So like my little film with no names might not be like what they're looking for, but I insisted that they please watch the movie before they say no, and they accepted us.
Yay.
And it would not have
Beautiful.
happened if I didn't reach out to them a few times.
Just be relentless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it. Well, I mean, you put so much time and effort into a movie. Why not? Right?
And I'm
Finish
proud of
off.
it. I'm very proud of it. I mean, the acting, the director is phenomenal. The whole movie, I'm incredibly proud of it. And I am also proud of it because it showcases like Korean culture in a way that I think the world should see it that way. Like, yeah.
100%. Rebecca, we're proud of you. Thank you for joining Crystal and I today. For more information, where can those guys find you at?
My website, RebeccaTeresia.com, or my Instagram, Rebecca.Teresia. Pretty much if you just Google my name, you'll find me. Oh, and LinkedIn, Rebecca Teresia.
Perfect. And for more on this broadcast, look for ID8studios.org and on social, ID8.studios. Thanks for joining us.